Welcome back to Introductory Interviews. My name is Evan Bird. I'm Vice President of Social Media for the BYU Acapella Club, and I'm here with Joseph Salaya from Why Not? So, Joseph, so can you kind of give us just kind of a brief history of Why Not? I know it's one of the more recent groups, so could you just kind of you know, just kind of give us a brief rundown of
Yeah,
it?
absolutely. This will be Why Not's fifth year. It was started in 2018 by Daniel Phillips, who just graduated. So he started the group. They got all their people just through the acapella auditions, and then everyone graduated, and then we just started finding friends to fill in all the spots. Um, yeah, so it's a pretty tight knit community, a lot of friends of friends, but we have a big turnover this year. A lot of our company just graduated, so we have kind of a lot of open space right now.
Hmm. Yeah, just kind of going off of that. So you're the first, so since Daniel started it, you're the first person to kind of take the reins. So what kind of things are you looking forward to this year as far as being directing and being president of this group?
Yeah, I mean, number one, just collaborating. So we have some really strong musicians in the group right now, that I'm definitely gonna have to rely on for arranging music. I'm really looking forward to arranging music, but it'll be kind of my first time doing that. I did a little bit in high school. So I'm looking forward to that challenge. And then also meeting new people that we invite into the group. Because I mean, for a while we had a lot of the same people and it was awesome, but I'm looking forward to getting some new people.
Mhm. That's awesome. So one thing that so I mean, so Daniel Phillips, he was a spectacular arranger, and he kind of specialized in like lots of your arrangements were like really kind of jazzy, which is not common within the BYU a cappella club, but it's definitely like scatting has been a part of a cappella for a long time. So is Daniel gonna still be kind of involved with some of the arranging process to kind of maintain that, or are you trying to try to continue with that, or just kind of give me some information on like
Yeah.
kind of
Well,
that part of the group.
I would certainly love to preserve that sort of like style of singing. One of my favorite memories we did, I don't know what the song's called, Be Your Man, maybe, like Baby Lock Them Doors and
Oh yeah.
and we had this interlude that was just a totally jazz interlude, super jazzy, a lot of scatting. And it just like didn't really fit like the genre of the song, but that's what made it really cool.
Yeah, it's a brave choice taking, a very well-known country song and completely changing it. But
Yeah.
that's what lots of groups are that's kind of, you know, how that's how like a cover gets really well noticed is when it changes genre like
Yeah.
that. So I remember as I was looking at the groups when I was first auditioning, I saw that, and I mean Jake Hansen was a buddy of mine from high school, and he
Oh
absolutely
yeah,
killed it on the solo.
we did.
Um so yeah, I like doing, that's a really, brave, and it's a really brave arranging choice, and it worked so well. And then the whole section in We Don't Talk About Bruno from the last jam, where you had Jake dressed up in the green hood, like running
Yeah.
around while everyone's just was that all improv scatting, or was that kind of decided beforehand?
I mean, we practiced it a bunch, so I'm sure it was like kind of already well developed, but it wasn't written in the music. So we would have like all our parts were all arranged explicitly, and then the scatting was just kind of like improv when we practiced, but when we performed, it was well rehearsed. But yeah, I don't feel super confident with my ability to arrange that kind of jazz music, but Daniel's little brother, who's also named Joseph, excellent musician as well. So I'm gonna have to kind of rely on him for the jazz parts, of the songs, because that's something that he could totally do.
Hmm.
So I imagine most of our songs will be sort of a collaborative arrangement.
And that's the best way to do it. Like, having it collaborative, it just kind of it helps with the community feel of the group, where it kind of where it doesn't seem like one person running the show. It seems like, okay, this is a team effort. We're all pitching in ideas. And so like that's a really
Absolutely.
excellent way to really build up that community. Um, so you mentioned that you have a lot of turnover.
Mhm.
So what parts specifically are you looking for at auditions this Tuesday?
Um, primarily female parts, sopranos and altos. We're running low on sopranos and altos. We currently have one girl that's still committed, and then potentially another one or two, but definitely sopranos and altos. We're looking for a beatboxer. I mean, I know that's
Are we all?
every group's looking for a beatboxer. Um, but it's great to have one. I mean, we have a couple singers that could pull it off if we needed, but it's nice to have like a real specialized beatboxer. And then high tenors are always nice to have. We don't currently have a high tenor, which I mean we can make do with, sufficient altos, but it'd be great to
Hmm.
find a really high tenor. Um, so yeah, those are kind of what we're hoping for from the auditions.
Hmm. So aside from the music, what's kind of like the kind of the overall mission statement of why not?
That's a really good question. Um, and I don't know if there's this, you know, Daniel has written this out, but kind of the what I've gathered from the 3 years that I spent in the group is we love producing high quality music. So we look for successful, competent musicians, um, but we intentionally make it kind of low key. So we don't ever practice more than twice a week. Sometimes it's just once a week. Um, just because like we know, I mean, there are some groups that practice a lot and they do some amazing things. So if you're looking, if these people that are auditioning are looking for like a place to do a ton of music, maybe look for one of those groups because we don't practice 3 or 4 times a week. But we, we'll learn parts on our own so that way we can come together and just have a really good time. Honestly, our number one goal is just be able to enjoy singing music together. And kind of secondary is hopefully it's really, really good.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. And could you also just kind of walk me through your experience? How did you get into singing? How'd you get into a cappella? What convinced you to join the BYU a cappella club? Kind of what's your journey been like?
Yeah. So I mean, I've sung since before I can remember. My mom is a singer, and so I just kind of, the first opportunity she saw, she put me in a choir, and I did choir all through elementary, middle, and high school. And then in high school, I had a couple a cappella experiences. In my choir, a lot of the songs that we did were a cappella, and we had this group project every year where we would, in a group of like 8 singers, maybe we'd have to arrange a song a cappella. And I mean, none of us really knew how to do it, but we would just trial and error, figure it out. And the one I loved most, we did a Lion King one year, Circle of Life.
Ooh.
Really, really fun. We just kind of like sent it. Anyways, and then when I started college, I just knew I wanted to keep singing. I didn't know what that would look like. And my older brother was a good friend of Daniel Phillips, and they were in Why Not together. And since it was Why Not second year, they had lost most of their people to that. Most of them had graduated.
Hmm.
My older brother's like, hey, we're looking for people. So I joined, and I mean, I knew from day one that I wanted to do it for the rest of my time at BYU because it was so much fun.
Hmm.
And
And like the community, like the jams, it would be really easy for them to get like kind of toxic and competitive, but like all the things that the club does, I love the sense of community. Like, yeah, there's
yeah,
a little bit of competition, but it's not against each other. It's just it's
yeah,
there's no like actual beef. It's just we're all supporting each other, which is something that is huge in any kind of music industry.
that's so true. It really surprisingly like really healthy environment, like because there is this sense of like, oh, we want to do really well, you have to audition for the jam. But like I've never felt any sort of like, I mean, any lack of support. All the groups are so supportive of each other. And like you're cheering the loudest for the other groups. So yeah, I love that part of the acapella club.
Hmm. So last question as we're wrapping things up. What is like the one bit of advice you would give to someone starting their BYU a cappella journey, whether it's the first time doing a cappella in general, or they've been doing it before and they're just starting it here at BYU.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm sure I could come up with something great if I thought about it more. But the first thing that comes to my mind, it seems like opposite advice, but I don't think it is. It would be um, identify your strengths and then try new things or things that are hard for you. One thing I love is watching others sing. I mean, some of the singers in the other groups I've seen for several years, and
Mhm.
I just like, I love watching them and seeing like them in their element, doing their strengths. Like some singers are just have a really strong low tone or can belt really well. And I mean, that's something you should totally enjoy. Like if you have a really strong musical gift, like enjoy it and develop it. But the other like part I love about acapella is it's really experimental. Everyone's kind of trying new things and doing things that maybe they've never done before. And I just think that's one of the best parts. I mean, it puts you out of your comfort zone. It helps build a sense of community with your group when you're kind of like doing things that scare you. So yeah, it'd be identify your strengths and develop those, and then try new things, take some risks.
Awesome. I mean, it's great advice for acapella. It's great advice in life. So,
Yeah,
yeah, so yeah, I really appreciate that. Well, to anyone watching, please consider Why Not. They're an amazing group. Especially if you're female, you got some of those higher notes. Please consider them. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today, and
yeah,
I'll be seeing you on Tuesday.
sounds good. Take care.